Как это поставить? Я не знаю. I don't actually feel a need to introduce myself because I have several videos on my YouTube channel. I would just like to go to the topic. It really took some time to perceive all the things I think about it, and I was also collecting opinions from my friends and family members. My only fear is that I am not competent enough to talk about it because I know only one side of the topic I would speak about, but this is only my opinion. So let's start. And the topic is religion versus psychology. Now, applause. How did they come to this? Okay, this was so sudden. Really, I was just sitting in my literature class and listening to a teacher while she began talking about religion. She told that we didn't really need psychology because here is the religion that does like all the things for psychology. Going to church and going to a psychologist, is the same thing for her. Hearing this, I was so irritated. Disclaimer, I am not a psychologist and I am not a religious person. So I am just a person looking to this from a distant perspective and trying to make some conclusions, trying to think about it. Firstly, the answer for the question, like, do you think are religious and psychology the same, deeply depends on your beliefs, like whether you are a religious person or not. Because if you're a religious person, sometimes psychology could automatically be excluded and not taken into consideration at all, because I cannot speak for all religions right now. Maybe in other religions the things are absolutely different. Psychology can be automatically excluded. This is because this particular science focuses mainly on a person, on their feelings, their emotions, their behaviors and moods. And in psychology, it is meant that people should work with their souls, if you will, make changes in their lives, alter their behaviors, and it is absolutely normal. At the same time, religion kind of excludes working on oneself. Let me show my cat, please. It is just so gorgeous. Simba! Who's the best boy ever? At the same time, religion kind of excludes working on oneself because one is a God's creature, and a soul or a spirit has to stay untouchable because it is given to you by God and you cannot alter it. You cannot like interact with it and to be involved in changes in it because it is untouchable. It is this basis you could not change at all. However, it is important to mention that psychology is applicable in some religion directions. I'm just not really competent, so I'll skip it. At the end of the day, it's hard to know an exact clear position on the matter of connection between psychology and religion because one source tells you like we are friends and another tells we're enemies. So it probably depends on each person. Like if you're a religious person and if you go to psychologist, for you it can be alright, and for another person who is also religious but cannot accept psychology and science, it is absolutely different thing. So now I'd like to start or continue with pros and cons of going to church in order to facilitate one's suffering. Firstly, being religious, it's understandable to go to one specific place to speak out your sins, or how it's called, and just to free your thoughts, kind of. It could even help a person for some period of her or his life. The thing is that religion mostly will not suggest a scheme how to work with one particular problem. It will ask you the right questions for you to understand yourself better, how psychologists do. So, in 2 days, or 2 months, or 2 years, whatever, you can face the absolute same thing, and you won't know how to solve it, how to, like, what to do about it, because you haven't learned from it. This is all because often a religious person needs just a God's forgiveness, which kind of means that one shouldn't do anything more. Like, psychology, however, offers you a decision, if not directly, then in a way you discover it yourself. Secondly, if you're religious, you once again needs God's forgiveness for your mistakes. So just saying sorry to a person you've harmed to is not sufficient enough. On the one hand, it could be even easier because you don't have to find this person to humiliate yourself before him or her if you accept your fault, and pick up the right words for a person to forgive you. On the other hand, striving only for God's forgiveness, one won't get on better with this person who he or she has a conflict with. What I'm trying to say is that religion can absolutely give you this relief that you need, but probably won't suggest as decision for solving the problem itself. So probably it refers mostly to interaction with other people, and it's important to mention who exactly we are talking about. If it's close people, that working on relationships with them is significant, because the relationships with them are crucial and affect your life, like, itself. Look at this. Hi. So if we're talking about people who are distant from you and not as important for you as the closest people, like, maybe it is okay that you need just God's forgiveness, because you don't want to find those people to be sorry, to kind of find the right words and so on and so forth, just because you need God's forgiveness and you don't need the further relationship with these people. So I think it could be okay in this matter. And thirdly, talking about religion, there is a high chance to get disappointed from my point of view. When something you had been praying for just didn't happen, for example, I don't really know if some may lose their faith based on not finding evidence, enough evidence, or not. But I suppose it may be frightening or scary, and it may put one in a doubt when one's demands just don't come true. And psychology is kind of clear in this matter, because there is a lot that depends on a person, like their actions that could be taken, relationships that could be fixed, emotions reinforced and or calmed, moods changed, behavior altered, and so on. As far as I know, religion doesn't offer so many ways. One could influence one's behavior. As for me, it is really great that psychology offers so many ways one can influence one's behavior, because there are people who can cope with something only by actions. For example, me is one of these people. Like, if something is going on, something is really bad, and I cannot hold on my emotions, I cannot just sit in my chair and thinking about the problem, how to solve it, or try to abstract that. Like, for me, it is not possible at all. I need to do actions immediately. Like, even if they are stupid, even if they are not like thoughtful enough, I would better do something about it than leave it if it is really touchy and if it is really important for me. So for these people, I think psychology is mostly applicable, because there is something you can do about it. While going to church can be such a reliever, but okay, maybe you won't have to do anything before this relief, because you are free now and you don't want to change anything. But in my opinion, but I think sometimes speaking out just doesn't help, and you need actions. So psychology here offers more ways, in my opinion, than church. Now I'd like to talk about psychology a bit. Firstly, let's mention difficulty of finding a specialist who would not only be certified and qualified but also matched with you. It's a lot harder than one could expect. Moreover, going to the specialist is more expensive than going to the same church. We're not talking about how church became business in some places, in some countries. We're talking about true faith and true beliefs. So yes, there are a lot of examples like how church became a business. But now let's just talk about positive moments, like not positive but sincere moments of religion. I'm sorry, I just cannot gather my thoughts together because I speak English first in a while and I don't know how to do this. The search of psychologists who will be matching with you, whose sessions are not as expensive, who is qualified and approved kind of in the market, seems like a mission that's impossible to complete. And in the search of the right specialist for you, you would most likely to go through different experience which you may not like. Furthermore, there are these people in the sphere who aren't real and actual specialists. They haven't been qualified. They take money for not even participating in your problem, and so on. So this could be really traumatizing and could definitely harm. So this is the negative side of psychology, because it's just hard to find a right person. But once one finds the specialist, usually it leads to working with with oneself, like working on one's life and improving it. It should be mentioned that psychologist is able to redirect a person to a psychotherapist who has medical qualification besides psychological qualification, and can prescribe something, if a person needs treatment, it is really important because this is the thing that church is not able to do anyway. So drawing a conclusion, the truth is psychology and church, or psychology and religion, are completely different things, even though they have some similarity in their activity or they have some connection. This is the only I was trying to say. Like, yeah, there are pros and cons of both. There are evidence why psychology works. The only thought I would like to bring to this topic is that these two things are completely different and you cannot compare them. Like, you can compare, but you cannot think that this is equal to each other. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Leave comments down below if you want to comment anything from what I said. Thank you so much. Bye.